Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us
Hi.
on the Nikki Maduro show. You know what today is, Kim McAllister?
Wednesday.
It's gonna be
Hump
May. It's the
hump
first day of
day.
May. It's the
Oh,
first
it's the
day of
first day of
May.
May. May Day is Lay Day. Did you
May
know?
Day is like, oh, I didn't know it was Lay Day.
Yeah, we're
Well,
supposed to give each other
get
lays and
laid.
dance around a flower pole and
Done.
celebrate the spring and, May and lays and you know how it
I'm gonna do the
is.
total like news anchor thing. Like, can you believe it's already May?
It's
Uh,
true.
it does feel
Aloha.
like
Happy
it's
May Day.
There you go. Happy May
Happy
Day.
Lay
All right.
Day. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us all on the Nikki Maduro Show. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister. And we're going to talk about a bunch of nonsense, of course, starting with former President Trump. Yes, he was gagged yesterday, but Kim, today he is going to rally once again in Wisconsin, one of these battleground states. What is the over under on he's not going to violate the gag order once again?
When you say he's gagged, it brings up this delicious image in my mind of like an actual gag in his mouth,
I
preventing
would
him from
love it.
spewing forth ugliness into the universe.
Yeah,
Alas, he's
it's not
still
going to
free to
happen.
speak. And I think the gag order it only fined him $9,000. And
$9,000 to us is a
that's
lot of money.
like
To him, not that much money.
no, it's like buying a gum at 7-Eleven for him, right? I mean, that's nothing. So if that's the slap on the wrist that he's going to get, maybe he continues to speak, although
Hmm.
jail is on the table.
Exactly. The judge is saying if $9,000 isn't enough to deter you, it's like $1,000 per violation or
Hmm.
whatever. If that's not enough to deter you, then jail is
Yeah.
absolutely on the table because the punishment has to be a deterrent. And if Trump,
Hmm.
I mean, he did delete the Truth Social posts that apparently violated the gag order. But again, at a rally, you know he's going to be up tweeting or whatever the hell you call it on Truth Social, all this crap. As long as, I mean, he just can't talk about the witnesses. He can't talk about the
Mm-mm.
judge and the family and all those sorts of things. If he can have some self control, which Donald Trump and self control don't usually go together, but we'll see what happens. It's just one of those things, Kim, where he uses these court hearings or whatever as
Yeah.
kind of a de facto rally. But the truth
Sure.
of the matter is, he hasn't been rallying much, even when he's not. Now, I'm going to play you Daniel Dale. He's with CNN. He's one of the fact checkers of
Oh, I
CNN.
like that. Let's get
I
to the
love him.
truth,
I
right?
love him. And again, it's so funny because he's so tired of having to fact check again all of the BS that Trump keeps spewing, but he has to. So here he is again, Daniel Dale with
Yeah.
CNN.
What do you got for me?
Jake, it's a tradition now in these appearances I do after these post-court hearings for me to note that former President Trump said this is a Biden trial or this is a Biden indictment or Biden is the one who brought this case. I come out here and note correctly that that's not true. It's completely baseless. Again, for the, I don't know how many times I've said
Million.
this. This is a case brought by a locally elected prosecutor, Alvin Bragg. There is precisely zero evidence that President Biden has had any personal role in bringing the case. Former President Trump keeps invoking former DOJ official Matthew Colangelo, who went to work for DA Bragg's office. There is no basis for any suggestion that President Biden personally put him there, ordered him there, etc. And then we have this laundry list of other claims. So former President Trump, said he should be campaigning in various
This
states.
is it.
Perhaps he would have been. We can't, check that hypothetical. But our Kristen Holmes keeps noting that even on the off days that former President Trump has, he tends to not be scheduling campaign events. He tends to be at Mar-a-Lago on the golf course. So the idea that he'd be out campaigning every day he's in court, I think, is dubious at best. Then he repeated a claim about another case, the Judge Engoron case, where he keeps saying Judge Engoron turned down the appellate division and refused to honor the decision of the appeals court in the civil fraud case involving Trump, his sons, and his company. That's not what happened. Engoron interpreted an appeals court decision in a way that former President Trump didn't like, did not reject it. And then I'll just note that at the same time, former President Trump said that Judge Merchan, presiding over this case, is rushing this case through, and then that someone said to him, "I've never sat this long in court before." So he's simultaneously complaining, like literally almost in the same breath. The judge is making this go too fast and also is making it go too slow. It's not really a fact check, but just wanted to note it, Jake.
Well,
Well, again, it's again Trump just speaking out both sides of his mouth, and again, not campaigning though. It really does blow my mind. Again, with this election, with Trump and Biden both back in it, sadly, it looks like, and I don't want to call races, but these battleground states are going to be so very important. Wisconsin again, could be very decisive in the election. He's going to be going out there again today, kind of just ginning up whatever he did as a president, and stamping down or tamping down what President Biden does. And again, it's hard to ignore the economy. I know inflation is still high. I know that President Biden's presidency hasn't been perfect, but my God, well, we didn't have an insurrection under President Biden. We got out of COVID under President Biden. It's just going to be a hard sell for anyone with anything between their ears to really believe that that Biden shouldn't be president again. But you sent me a link that's supposed to give us hope, Kim. Now, again, ever since, and John Rothman, I love John Rothman. I will always be brokenhearted because John Rothman kept comforting me in 2016, telling me that there was no way, Nikki, that Donald Trump was going to beat Hillary Clinton. And of course, we know what happened. And so this is why I still love John Rothman, but I don't believe polls. I don't until the results are out. I don't believe any polls. Now, this guy has a pretty good record, though. This is Professor Alan Leichman. He's a professor of history at American University. And apparently, he has accurately predicted 9 of the last 10 presidential elections. So I'm going to play you the video.
This is a pretty good record.
This is supposed to make us, by the way, feel a little bit better about the upcoming election. Damn the polls, okay?
Why do you think that Biden is in the driver's seat now when all these polls seem to say we should be worried?
Remember, all the polls told us that Hillary Clinton would win in 2016.
Bing, bing.
I predicted Trump would win. In 1988, as late as May and June, George H.W. Bush was trailing his opponent, Michael Dukakis, by 18 percentage points. He went on to win handily. Polls are snapshots. They are abused as predictors. The keys are different because they tap into the structure of how elections really work, which is that they are votes up or down on the strength and performance of the White House party. Now, why does Biden have an advantage?
Yeah.
We hear all this consternation. There should have been a younger candidate. But look at this. Biden wins the incumbency key, which you saw on your chart. He wins the contest key because he's not seriously opposed for the nomination. That means 6 more of my keys would have to fall to predict his defeat. Right now, he only loses 2. Party mandate based on House elections in 2022 and incumbent charisma because he's no Franklin Roosevelt. So 4 more keys would have to fall. And there are 4 shaky keys that I haven't called yet. And this is what your viewers should keep your eye on to get the pundits, to get the polls. Third party. Will RFK Jr. emerge as we get closer as a truly significant third party candidate?
Yep.
Social unrest, which
there we
we
go.
now see emerging at campuses. Will that be sustained? We don't know. And of course, foreign failure and success, which depend upon what's going to happen in the Middle East and in Ukraine. All 4 would have to go against Biden to predict his defeat. That's possible, but not highly likely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I feel comforted. Those are a lot of keys that can kind of be shaky. Now, again, as far as the unrest, the social unrest, obviously we're seeing the college protests. There has been some progress on college campuses, like Brown University has agreed to take a vote, at least in October, regarding divestment. We don't know what that vote's going to be. Kim, I was always wondering when colleges were just going to do this, but like, fine, we'll take a vote at a later date, get the hell off the campus. But, we'll obviously be following that. We had to obviously follow what happens with Ukraine and the Middle East and the war in general.
Yeah.
But again, a lot can happen between now and then. But between now and then, you know what else is definitely going to happen? All these freaking court cases with former President Trump. So again, I can't understand, in the words of Colin Jost, it's a tie. It's close. I can't wrap my mind around it, friend. I really can't.
Well, let me say regarding the unrest, it looks like universities are not having this whole we're going to occupy your campus thing, because last night I saw an article on CNN where the New York Police Department was entering occupied buildings at Columbia. They gained entry through a 2nd floor window, and they started taking protesters into custody there and at a spot off campus. At Cal Poly Humboldt, that students had occupied this building. Cops went in and they started rounding people up, making arrests. You're out. So it seems like they're going to nip this in the bud.
Well, we'll see what happens. Again, there's always the pushback. Again, what happens on one campus doesn't necessarily happen on another campus. So again, all these things are going to play into the upcoming election. Former President Trump, he has a lot of baggage. I don't know why people still love him, but of course we'll keep following it throughout the week. He'll be back in court on Friday, I believe. Okay, there's a different story that I want to get to also today. And this is just it's a California story. And actually, I would say this is actually, even a larger type of national story, because President Biden has been trying to do this too. The whole idea of junk fees, right? Now, the California Attorney General's office confirmed, now this is a California law, but President Biden's been tackling it too, that bans junk fees, and it will apply to surcharges at restaurants. So you guys, let me know in the comments, how do you like to get screwed, from the front or from behind? Because it's going to happen either way. It's going to happen either way. So basically, the surcharges are for like service fees. And many restaurants will put a little note that says, oh, this is to help with healthcare for workers, or to have higher wages for workers, kind of move away just from tips. Well, if they don't have the surcharges, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to get it up front. You're going to get it as an increase in your menu prices. Now, I was just reading an article in the Chronicle with people saying, it has definitely changed my eating out habits. One, I'm eating out less. And two, when I do eat out, maybe I'm splitting an entree. Maybe I'm not getting the appetizer. Maybe I'm not getting that second bottle of wine. So it's going to cut into the bottom line of them as well. I just prefer an all-in price. You know what? Raise the prices. So when I go online and I go to a restaurant's website, and I'm looking at the menu, which I always do, because I like to take my time, figure out what I want, make my decision, see what's really in it, look at the pictures, whatever. If I look at the menu and the price says $30, and then all of a sudden with the service fees, that same dinner ends up costing me $40,
no,
I'm not happy about that. I'm budgeting a certain amount. The dollar signs on whether or not it tells you how expensive a restaurant is could change from like a $2 sign to a $3 sign pretty freaking quickly if you add in all of these different fees. Now, do you mind paying the service fees, Kim? I mean, is that something you've ever been like,
I know
I'm taking it up with my server, take this off my bill?
Sometimes it makes people really mad. So it doesn't make me that mad. I feel like if I'm going to eat out, which we don't do very much anymore, but if I'm going to eat out, I'm going to, I named my daughter after my husband's grandmother, Grandma Julia. Okay. Grandma Julia said, if you can't afford to go out and order what you want, then you shouldn't be going out. Don't even bother having the experience, right?
Right.
Don't do it on the cheap. If you can't afford to just go and enjoy it, then don't do it. That was her mantra. And so I take it to heart. Like we've talked about before, if I can't go to the nice hotel, then I'll wait and go on vacation at a later time. If I can't go out and everyone can order what they want, then we're going to wait and we're going to do it upright so I look at whether a place is expensive and I figure double that. With tip and everything else, that's what I'm budgeting for this expense. I'm not budgeting what they tell me. I always budget twice what they tell me. If I can't afford that, then I can't afford to go. Yeah. So that's how I approach it. But we were at Fisherman's Wharf with my father-in-law one time, and he's from Los Angeles and came to San Francisco to visit with us. This is a long time ago, but it was right after San Francisco enacted the health fee, where they put on the health fee. Every restaurant, has to pay a health surcharge so that employees can have a day off when they're sick and, have insurance, whatever. I didn't have a problem with that. He would not. He would not let it go. He was so upset about it. He's like, I am never eating in San Francisco again. This is not my responsibility and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, we pay an extra few dollars to make sure someone gets the day off when they're sick. I'm thinking it's not that big of a deal. Like I'm back here in Grandma Julia mode. If you can't afford it, then let's just not do it. right?
Yeah, but he would not. But that's a great point, because he likely would have never said anything if he looked up at the menu or whatever and
Right.
saw the price even a dollar more. If you add it all up, even if it was a
Yeah.
dollar or two more expensive, he would have never been upset. But what he
Right.
was upset was the back end,
That's
right?
right.
It's like, I want to know up front how much my clam chowder bread bowl is going to be, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I want to know what it's going to cost, because then I can make an educated decision. What I don't want is for me to do a kind of, back of the napkin calculation of how much this dinner or lunch is going to be. And then all of a sudden I say a surcharge, and it's not just one surcharge.
Yeah.
There's healthy SF, and then there's
Mhm.
this, and then there's that. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's more than the meal or the drink or whatever that I ordered.
Exactly.
And I didn't even get anything out of it. Raise the prices. Now,
Yeah.
I know that's hard to say for people saying inflation, everything costs so much. Go back to Kim's point. If you can't afford it, then just don't eat out as much.
Right.
That's the truth. And I know it's going to hurt people on every single end. You, because you want entertainment, the restaurant because they want your business, the server because according to the
They
Chronicle,
want the tip, right? Yeah.
they want their pay. Apparently, they just did a kind of statistic. Said 1,000 employees across some 9 restaurants that they interviewed for the story could see their pay drop by as much as 25%, even if they do raise prices to offset the difference. So people are going to hurt because of this junk fee. But I just feel like, if I'm going to pay, just tell me what it freaking costs all
Does
in.
it matter that much to you if you open the menu and the bread bowl with the corn chowder or clam chowder or whatever it is $7.99 versus $10.99? Does that mean you're not going to order it?
Well, no, if I'm in the mood for clam chowder, I'm buying the clam chowder.
So
right?
what I'm
There
saying.
you go. So but at least I know it's $10.99. Now it's $7.99 plus this, plus that, plus this, plus that. It's like, no, that's why, like, when we buy concert tickets. Oh, yeah. I just bought concert tickets to go see Billie Eilish.
Look at you.
I am so excited I was able to, just a little caveat, off on a little tangent right here. I scored. So if anyone hasn't heard the story, my best friend and I had bought our daughters, who are also best friends, grew up together, Billie Eilish tickets. Then COVID hit. It was the Christmas before our COVID hit. We bought the tickets. We were supposed to go the following summer, and the concert was postponed and then canceled. And how many years has it been, right? And we weren't able to go to the Billie Eilish concert that did happen in between. So I was adamant that I wanted it. I'm trying all these different ways. A big shout out to my husband, who actually helped and sat on the computer and the phone trying to get the tickets. But what was interesting was there was a pre-sale code, and I actually was sent the pre-sale code and I didn't know it. I was like checking my email for some sort of other code from Ticketmaster, and I found it from the day before. So we ended up getting the tickets. Yay. Everybody's happy. But back to what we were talking about. There are now options to see, not necessarily on Ticketmaster, but the all-in price, service fees, everything else. So that when you search for your price range, that it's actually that. It's the same with like Airbnb and everything like that. Stop nickel and diming me, or even more. Just tell me how much it costs so that I could do the search, so I'm not disappointed, so I'm not falling in love with like section 100 row 2, and then all of a sudden the service fees make it out of my price range and I'm back up into the nosebleeds. You know what I mean? Like, just be upfront, because like I always say, when they make things complicated, they're trying to screw you. Just let me know what it is.
I have two things to tell you.
Okay.
Number one is a personal item. Before I walked into the office/studio to record with you, someone in this house blocked up the toilet.
Oh no.
And so I know that
Talk
I
about
can't
a junk
fix it.
fee.
I can't fix it because here I am with you.
Right.
So I sent a note to my husband. So and so had an issue
just
in the
overflowing?
restroom. No, but it's
It's not going anywhere. Okay.
No, it needs to be dealt with, and like probably the sooner the better. And so I look at my phone and I get a message. You know what it is? A poop emoji. Like, that's the response. The response is not, we're going to go fix it. The response is the poop emoji. Yeah.
So there you go. So yeah, that sucks. And then what's your second one?
The second thing I want to tell you is, this vehicle, this is a Tesla.
I'm seeing them more and more, and it's bothering me. How many morons are there?
It's the Tesla Cybertruck, right? This is a truck they've had issues with it being out in the rain because they had rust spots. Then they had to recall them because apparently if you push it pedal to the metal, the little pad on the
stuck or something.
Yeah, on the accelerator pedal gets stuck, and then you can't get it up, and then you can't get it up, and then you're going fast, whatever. Well, I guess someone finds this vehicle attractive because there's a copycat. Chinese automaker Dongfeng was at this car show and they unveil their vehicle, and darn if it doesn't look a lot like the Cybertruck. Look at that.
I mean, okay, go back to the other picture. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do a quick comparison, real quick.
Hey, this is the Cybertruck.
That's a Cybertruck.
It's a little boxier, but this is the Dongfeng.
It's a little more rounded. That's like the Wish.com Cybertruck. Is that what we're supposed to call?
I don't know, but look, it has the same long kind of windows. I don't know. I mean, it's a little different, I guess, but it's similar enough. I don't know. What do you think? Are you muted? I think you might be muted. I can't hear you. But I will say that they're one of the big four. Oh, there you are. They're
there it is.
They're one of the big four state-owned companies, Dongfeng, in China. And they call this electric car the 2024 concept pickup truck. The edge is softer, but like the Cybertruck, this one is wedge-shaped. It's silver-bodied, has a big nose on the front end, a covered cargo bed above the back wheels. And when they showed it at the show, they had a small mattress lying in the bed with tent flaps above it. So I don't know. It looks similar to me. What were you saying? I still can't hear you. For some reason, you seem to be muted, and I don't know why. Maybe your audio is freezing. I don't know. I will say, if I was Tesla, I'd be a little upset. I'm just saying. I think that maybe they have a lawsuit on their hands. Don't you think? That looks really similar. I could be wrong. I don't know. And it's not like we're going to hire we're going to go out and buy the Dongfeng Cybertruck. I'm just thinking it looks a little too close for comfort. Look at how interesting the wheels are, though, on that one versus this one. They still have, they filled up the wheels. There's a lot of similarities. I don't think I would want either one of them. Would you? I don't think so. I don't know. All right. Well, Nikki Maduro lost Wi-Fi. So let's wrap up the show by saying today on the Mark Thompson Show, some really, really good guests. So at 11 o'clock, please find me at the Mark Thompson Show, where I am joined as a co-host by Phil Schumann. He will join me, and then we'll have John Rothman on the show. Dr. Peter Chin Hong will talk about the bird flu today. And then I have a fill-in because Belinda Weymouth with It's the Planet Stupid is off this week. So we have Bob Keefe to talk about kind of the hard position between business and the environment, and maybe how it doesn't have to be so difficult after all. That is all coming up at 11 on the Mark Thompson Show, then followed by the After Party Live. But I do want to ask you if you could please check out, first of all, please check out the thumbs up button, because Lord knows we need all the help we can get. Please click thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the Nikki Maduro Show, please do that as well. We are at the NikkiMaduroShow.com. Find the Patreon and the PayPal link. We so appreciate your support on this show. And if you want to PayPal us, here is the address, easy peasy. And if you could support our sponsor, AuntieTobbies.com. And here is the link to that. The slash is Nick. I'm sorry. That's Nikki's favorite things. I'm looking for the Auntie Tobbies link. Thank you for rejoining.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I started yelling at the kids.
Help me find it. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. There it is. AuntieTobbies.com/Nick Kim. And let me show you what we have. We have the hibiscus, we have the pineapple, and we have the barbecue sauce guava, which is
not spicy.
This is good. So AuntieTobbies.com/Nikki M or Nick Kim.
Nick
And
Kim.
thank you for supporting our sponsor as well. We
Yes.
appreciate you for hanging with us.
Yes, and I'm
Yes.
sorry that I missed the end of your story.
Things happen.
I apologize so
It's okay.
very much.
Did
Okay.
you have anything else you wanted to share with the class?
Well, I did want to talk about one more story. Do we have? Is it weird
Bring
if
it
I do one
on.
more story?
That's good. No,
Okay,
no.
good. It kind of was tying into the junk fee story, kind of, but not really. It's
Sure.
what people spend their money on. Now, Outside Lands. Have you ever been to Outside Lands, my friend?
I haven't. I have seen all the traffic and I've talked about it a lot, but I've never cared enough to spend that kind of much money to go.
It was my first big story that I did at KGO where I couldn't find parking. They sent me out. I was so nervous. I didn't know where to park the news truck. I didn't know what the rules were. And so I did a whole story about how I couldn't find parking at Outside Lands.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Outside Lands is really, really expensive. And, you know, sometimes I feel like these things, they just want to gouge the crap out of you.
Yeah.
So not only can you pay, I mean, let's see, a 3-day general admission ticket is $465 plus fees. General admission plus, I don't know what you get with that, is $715. So that plus better count a lot. It's over $1,000 for a VIP. It's over $5,000 if you do the Golden Gate Club, and it just goes up from there. But as if they don't have enough of your money, as if it's not expensive enough to go to Outside Lands, now they're going to try to eke even more money out of you. So you can get, and they do have one for every single day. It's a new tradition at Outside Lands. It's called I Do. It's in the heart of the McLaren Pass, and they've created a city hall for people to get married. Festival attendees can, quote, host their wedding or recommitment ceremony throughout the weekend. You reserve a ceremony time slot. You have to also buy your festival tickets. They're not included.
Right.
And then you could celebrate the big day with your family and friends, all for the low, low price of like $395. So here's
What
my
does
question.
What does that come with exactly?
That's it. Just you get a time. You get a reserved time slot of 15 minutes.
Okay.
A wedding officiant to perform the ceremony. Now this actually, I didn't catch this. A wedding photographer that will
Okay.
be sent post festival. Which again, I mean, whatever. Do I got to see the pictures beforehand? You get a wedding lounge to freshen up with toiletries and light refreshments. A festival wedding certificate. Limited but dedicated seating for guests to be cleared between reservations.
Okay.
A small size festival locker only for the day of the reservation. 2 drink tokens to be redeemed after the ceremony. A concierge, and of course the space.
For $400 almost?
Yeah, like for $400. I could just go to Outside Lands with my ordained friend, sit around with my friends, get the drink that I probably already overpaid for, and just do it my damn self. I don't see the point of
Would
doing
you though?
something
Or
like
if they
that.
saw you doing it, would they come and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
if you're
I
going to
bet
do
people
this
have
at
been doing
Outside
it.
Lands, you got to go to the official wedding tent. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I bet people already did it, and it
Yeah.
started getting around, and they're like, you know, a way we can milk more money out of people.
Yep.
This is the way that we can milk more money out of people. So I'm just saying, Kim, just go do it yourself. We have to start saving our dollars. I mean, it's
Especially
getting a
if
little
it's-
crazy out there.
Especially if it's a recommitment ceremony.
Wow.
I mean,
well, my parents did just renew their vows after 50 years. So
which is lovely and
That's
sweet. But
lovely.
like, do you really need it to be wedding part 2?
No, I don't need it to be. And then, you know, like, is it going to be really secluded from everywhere else? Are there going to be a bunch of drunk people walking through my wedding? I don't know. If you do it, let me know and send me pictures because I really, really, really want to know. All right. That's all I wanted to talk about. I appreciate all of you guys. If Kim hasn't said it, thank you to everybody. There is a survey in the show notes for you guys to continue to weigh in on how we do this show. I'm hoping you're liking the daily content that we're still putting up here for you guys. The email address, of course, theNikkiMadoroShow@gmail.com. It's the best way to reach me directly. I know Kim's put up the Patreon, theNikkiMadoroShow.com. Please donate to our Patreon. And also make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss a moment of the show. So we'll see. We'll keep our eye on Trump. We'll see if that ball gag is going to work on him, Kim. I don't know if they're going to have to bust it out or just, you know, the jail keys for that dude. But we'll see. We'll have much more tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. We love you. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.